Try it right now. Run your fingertips along the side of your own ribs. You can press, you can scratch, you can drag your nails across the most ticklish skin on your body, and absolutely nothing happens. Now picture someone else doing it. Feel how your whole body already wants to twist away. That flinch is real, and you didn't choose it. So why does the exact same touch in the exact same place become unbearable the moment another hand delivers it? You probably think you already know. You're used to your own touch. It's familiar. It's predictable. But the real answer is far stranger than familiarity, and it reaches all the way down into the deepest machinery of what your brain is actually for. Here is the first thing to understand. Your brain is not a camera. It does not sit quietly and record the world as it arrives. Instead, it spends every waking second guessing what is about to happen, a heartbeat before it happens. It builds a prediction of the next moment, and when the world matches that prediction, your brain quietly erases it. That is the secret hiding inside the tickle. Think about what it means to move your own hand. You feel like you simply decide and your hand obeys. But underneath that smooth experience, something far more complicated is happening. Every time you send a command to your muscles, your brain sends a second copy of that command somewhere else. A copy that never reaches your hand at all. Scientists have a name for that copy. They call it an efference copy. The prediction it builds is called a forward model, and the purpose of that model is simple. It tells the rest of your brain in advance exactly what your own body is about to feel. So when your fingers reach for your ribs, your brain already knows. It knows the speed, it knows the pressure, it knows the precise patch of skin about to be touched. And before that touch ever lands, your brain has already produced a near-perfect forecast of it. The sensation arrives, the forecast matches, and the touch is cancelled out before it can ever surprise you. You are not failing to tickle yourself. Your brain is deleting the tickle on purpose. In the late 1990s, a young neuroscientist named Sarah Jane Blakemore set out to find exactly where in the brain this deletion happens. And the machine she built to find it was almost comic. She built a tickling robot. She had people lie down inside a brain scanner. A robotic arm, tipped with a small piece of soft foam, would gently stroke the palm of their hand. Sometimes the person moved a lever that drove the robot themselves. Sometimes the robot moved entirely on its own. The physical touch was identical in both cases. The same foam, the same palm, the same soft, slow stroke. But the feeling was not identical at all. When the robot moved on its own, people reported a real ticklish sensation. When they drove the robot themselves, the very same touch felt dull and flat. And working alongside Daniel Wolpert and Chris Frith, Blakemore could see the difference written directly into the brain. A region at the back of the skull, called the cerebellum, was the key. When you moved the robot yourself, your cerebellum went quiet. When the robot moved without you, it lit up. Your cerebellum is your body's prediction engine. It is the part of you that whispers what's coming next. And when what comes next is something you caused, it turns the volume down. But Blakemore wasn't finished. She wanted to know how fragile this prediction really was. So she began to break it on purpose. She added a delay. When you moved the lever, the robot would now stroke your hand a fraction of a second later than your own motion. She added a twist, sending the robot off at an angle from the direction you moved. And something remarkable happened. The moment your movement and the touch stopped lining up perfectly, the tickle came creeping back. A delay of just 1/5 of a second was enough. Your brain had predicted one thing. The world delivered something slightly off, and the mismatch slipped through as sensation. The tickle, it turns out, is what a prediction error feels like. Now step back, because this goes far deeper than a party trick. This prediction system was not built for tickling, it was built for survival, hundreds of millions of years before anything like you existed. And to understand why, you have to ask a strange question. How does any creature tell the difference between the world moving and itself moving? Imagine a fish. As it swims, the water rushes across its skin and its senses. If the fish treated every one of those signals as something happening to it, it would be in constant panic, mistaking its own swimming for an attack. So evolution found a solution. The fish's brain learned to predict the rush of its own movement and to subtract it out, leaving only what was truly new in the water around it. In the 1950s, two German scientists, Erich von Holst and Horst Mittelstadt, gave this idea a name. They called it the reafference principle. And around the same time, an American named Roger Sperry described almost the same thing, a signal he called corollary discharge. Different words, one profound truth. Every animal with a brain carries an internal copy of its own intentions and uses that copy to cancel out the sensations it creates itself. That is why a fly's own movements don't blind it. That is why a cat isn't startled by the feeling of its own paws. And that is why, when you walk down a street, the entire visual world doesn't seem to lurch and swing with every step, even though the image on the back of your eyes is bouncing wildly. Your brain predicts the bounce and erases it and hands you a world that holds perfectly still. You live inside an edited reality, a version of the world with all of your own noise quietly stripped away. The tickle is simply the one corner of that editing you can actually feel. It is your prediction machine catching itself in the act. But here is the twist that makes it human. If the whole story were just prediction and cancellation, then a touch you didn't predict should always tickle. A leaf brushing your arm, a bead of water on your neck. And yet those don't make you laugh, not the way a person does. So ticklishness is not only about surprise. There is a second ingredient, and it is much older and much stranger. Long before there were laboratories, Charles Darwin was puzzling over this. In 1872, he wrote that for tickling to work, the precise spot must be unknown, and the touch must come as a kind of gentle surprise. But he noticed something more. He linked the helpless laughter of tickling to the laughter of play and to the bond between a parent and a child. Tickling, he saw, was not just a sensation, it was social. Think about where you are most ticklish: your ribs, your neck, your stomach, the soft underside of your feet. These are not random patches of skin. They are the most vulnerable places on your body, the parts you instinctively shield in a fight. Your ticklish zones are a map of your weak points, and that map suggests something extraordinary about what tickling is really for. When a parent tickles a baby, when children chase and tickle and shriek, the body is rehearsing. It is practicing what it feels like to have your most vulnerable points touched, but inside a context of total safety. You are learning to defend, to dodge, to read another body's movements, all wrapped inside laughter and play. Tickling may be one of the oldest games of trust your species has. A mock attack on your softest places, answered not with fear, but with joy. Not everyone was convinced this needed another person, though. A psychologist named Christine Harris decided to test it directly. If ticklish laughter is truly social, she reasoned, then a machine should not be able to produce it. So she built one, a device that tickled people while they believed it was fully automated, with no human involved. And to her surprise, people still laughed, still squirmed. The ticklishness did not vanish just because the toucher wasn't human. So the truth sits somewhere in between. The reflex is built into your body, ancient and automatic, but the laughter, the helpless delight, blooms most fully when another person is on the other end. The sensation is biology, the joy is connection. And now you can see the whole strange shape of it. You cannot tickle yourself because your brain refuses to be surprised by you. It knows your every move, before you make it. It carries a constant, flawless prediction of your own body, and that prediction is exactly what makes you, you. The cost of that gift is that you can never sneak up on yourself. You are the one person in the universe you will never catch off guard. It takes another person to break the prediction, another hand moving in a way your brain could not forecast, arriving with an intention that isn't yours. Look at how much of your life runs on this same hidden machine. The reason a sudden notification on your phone makes you flinch while the ones you expect do not. The reason a joke only lands when the punchline swerves away from what you saw coming. The reason your own thoughts rarely shock you, but a stranger's words can stop you cold. Surprise, it turns out, is something you almost cannot manufacture alone. You need the world. You need other people. You need the parts of reality that refuse to follow your forecast. Your brain spent millions of years learning to erase itself from your experience, so that it could finally notice everything that was not you. That is the quiet machinery humming behind every moment of your day. So try it one more time. Run your fingertips along the side of your own ribs and feel that perfect, predicted nothing. That nothing is not an accident. It is the sound of your brain doing the most important job it has. The same job it has done since the first creature swam through ancient water, telling itself with absolute certainty, "This is only me." And in that silence lives a strange and beautiful truth. The one touch you can never feel is your own, because to surprise you, the world has to send someone else.